In a previous video, we discussed the 20 principles of playing position. In this video, we're going to examine in detail how these principles are used by strong players to help simplify their runouts. We're going to go through two patterns so you can have a better understanding of how these principles affect each shot during a runout. So if you're ready, let's get started. We'll first start with this 9-ball pattern. We have ball in hand on the 1 ball, and just on this first shot alone, there are several principles of position at work. For instance, in this first shot, we need to pocket the 1 ball and land the cue ball near the side rail for shape on the 2 ball. So the first principle of position play that we'll be talking about is choose angles that will help move the cue ball to your position area. So let's talk about this first principle. Many of my students would place the cue ball here to pocket the 1 ball and get shape for the 2 ball. The problem with this is that this is a very flat angle, which means they'll be striking more of the 1 ball, which requires a firm stroke to move the cue ball to their position area. The harder you have to strike an object ball, the less precise you're going to be in both cue ball path and speed. Now, if we place the cue ball here, we can softly roll in the 1 ball, landing in our position area. Since we're shooting softer, we're going to have a little more control over path and speed. The next principle we're going to talk about is open areas as opposed to coming off rails. There are 2 ways to play this shot. You can play into an open area by landing here, or you can send the cue ball off the side rail. If you watch professionals, there is a reason why they tend to send their cue ball off rails instead of just landing in an open area. By coming off the rail, they're increasing their position window. When players lack confidence when shooting a shot, they tend to decelerate on their forward stroke, which means they usually end up short of their position area. So if they play into an open area and land short, they usually end up with an awkward angle. If they come up short when trying to send the cue ball off a rail, their cue ball would generally be closer to their ideal position. Let's look at this example. Let's say we're going to play position from the 6 ball to the 7 ball. We need to land here so we can use this angle to pocket the 7 ball and get on the 8 ball. So we could pocket the 6 ball and land in this position area. The problem is that the entire path is in the danger area. We don't have our position until the very end of the cue ball path. So ending up short will leave us a difficult shot to get on the 8 ball. Now watch what happens when we send the cue ball off the side rail. Now we're traveling toward the 7 ball at the correct angle, which opens up our position window. Ending up short going this way still gives us an angle that we can work with. Another mistake players make on shots like this is picking large areas for their cue ball. Since the 2 ball is here, they assume that if they land anywhere in this area, they're going to have a shot on the 2 ball, which in this case is true, but it wouldn't be the correct way to play the shot for 2 reasons. The first reason is that if you have an opportunity to play close position on your next ball, you need to take advantage of that. Since by playing closer position, it's going to make it easier to pocket the ball and get the ideal angle on the following ball. When you're close to a ball, you can focus more on the speed of the cue ball than making the ball. When you're farther away, now you have to shift more of your focus to pocketing the ball, so your cue ball speed may suffer. The second reason you want to play more precise position is that you have to develop the skill needed to keep your cue ball on a specific path. Maybe the next time you have a situation, you won't have this large position area to work with, so you'll have no choice but to put that cue ball on a very tight path. If you're not developing the skill, then you may struggle when these situations come up. The next principle of position play is that whenever you send a cue ball to a rail, always send it to a specific number or target. When working with students, we usually make this pocket 0 and increase each diamond by 10. So on this 1 ball shot, you should be sending the cue ball to 30 or the 3rd diamond. The reason it's so important to be this specific is that when you practice sending the cue ball to 30, you can really see how accurate you are in your cue ball control. For instance, if you're sending the cue ball to the side pocket or to the other side of the side pocket, then that's definitely an issue you need to address. If you're just playing position with no real target in mind, then you're not going to be aware of positional shots that you need to work on. Now we're on the 2 ball, and here's the next principle of position play. As a general rule, you don't want to trade one good angle for another. And here's what this means. My goal when playing the 3 ball is to land here for the 4 ball, and I can get there 2 different ways. I can softly pocket the 2 ball, giving myself a high angle on the 3 ball. Playing shape with the 3 ball this way is very easy since I don't have to do too much with the cue ball. The other option is to roll forward, crossing the 3 ball pocket line. The problem is that you're trading automatic shape in the 3 ball for another positional shot that may or may not work, since you could end up with an awkward angle on the 3 ball. Here's an example of where many of my students may trade a built-in angle to try and get their ideal angle. In this game of 9 ball, we're on the 2 ball. We need to create an angle on the 3 ball to get on the 4 ball. The safe way to play this shot is to keep the high angle on the 3 ball, since we don't have to do too much when we pocket the 2 ball. Now we can go 2 rails for shape on the 4 ball. Even though the ideal angle on the 3 ball is right here, where we can send the cue ball off the side rail for shape on the 4 ball, it's a very small position window, and it won't take much to end up with an awkward angle. Before trading one good angle for another, always study the situation to decide if it's worth the risk. Since we're close to the 2 ball, we should be able to create the ideal angle in the 3 ball to get to our position area for the 4 ball, which is over here. One thing to remember is that a difference of only an inch or 2 can change a natural angle to an angle that requires more work. For instance, at this angle in the 3 ball, we'll have to use more right spin to send the cue ball to the position area, which increases the shot's difficulty. If we roll forward an extra couple inches, now we have an angle that requires less right spin, which makes the shot easier. And as we learned earlier, when we're shooting easier shots, we can focus more on the speed of the cue ball. It may help to use the numbers on the side rail to help you pick a spot for your cue ball, which in this case is 15. This will help you visualize exactly where you need the cue ball to end up. When shooting the 3 ball, we really need to be aware of the 4 ball pocket line. Ending up too close to the pocket line will require more stroke to pocket the 4 and move the cue ball over for shape on the 5 ball. So now we're on the 4 ball, and this leads to 2 more principles of position play. First, always be aware of pocket lines. For example, here is the pocket line for the 5 ball. Once we can see this pocket line, we'll now determine on which side of this line we need to land on. In order to know this, we need to look ahead 1 more ball to the 6 ball. It looks like we're going to need a precise angle on the 6 ball to get on the 7 ball. If we were to land on or close to the 5 ball pocket line, we could play a stop shot, and that would give us an automatic angle on the 6 ball for the corner pocket to get on the 7 ball. Ending up too short of the 5 ball pocket line means we'll have to work a little harder at creating an angle on the 6 ball that we can use to get on the 7 ball. And this leads to our next principle of position play. Always be aware of what side of the pocket line is the danger area. So the danger area in this shot is ending up too short of the 5 ball pocket line. If we cross the line, we still have an angle in the 5 ball that we can use to get our angle on the 6 ball. So now we've landed in our position area. Before we shoot the 5 ball, let's look at the 6 and 7 ball. It looks like we need to land around here for shape on the 7 ball. So in the 5 ball shot, we can either just play a stop shot and take the natural angle by shooting the 6 ball in the corner pocket and sending the cue ball off the side rail for shape on the 7 ball. Or we can draw back for the 6 ball in the side pocket. But as we mentioned earlier, you generally don't want to trade a built-in angle for another angle. Even though the 6 ball in the side pocket would be an easier shot to make, our position window in the 6 ball is razor thin. Our speed control would have to be perfect. And this leads to another principle of position play. Always examine the position windows that you're trying to land in. Since we played position for the 6 ball in the corner pocket, we had some room to play with when pocketing the 5 ball. If we try to play position for the 6 in the side pocket, our ideal position area is here, which doesn't give us much room for error. We can see that when we play position for the 6 ball in the side pocket, the cue ball isn't tracking toward the 6 ball at the correct angle. You won't have your position until the very end of the cue ball path, which means your cue ball speed has to be extremely precise. For example, in this game of 9 ball, we're on the 3 ball and we need to land on or very close to the 4 ball pocket line. So there are 2 ways to land in our position area. We can either stun the cue ball over to the pocket line, but we won't have our position until the very end of the cue ball path. So our speed would have to be very precise. But if we send the cue ball off the side rail, now we're traveling toward the 4 ball at the correct angle. So our position window really opens up. So if we examine our shot in the 5 ball again, we can see that playing shape for the 6 in the side pocket doesn't really give us much of a position window. The next shot involves several principles of position play. The first principle is what we discussed earlier. Be aware of pocket lines. If we examine the 7 ball pocket line, we can now determine that landing here on this side of the pocket line is the danger area. So the next principle that comes into play is going off rails as opposed to playing open areas. Instead of playing the shot this way, which would mean almost the entire cue ball path is in the danger area, we can send the cue ball off the side rail, opening up our position window. So now the next principle of position play that affects this shot is if you're going to send the cue ball toward a rail, send it toward a specific target. In this shot, I'll be sending the cue ball toward 30 or the 3rd diamond on the side rail. In a recent 0x video, we went through each shot of a professional match and explained in detail how top players are very precise when sending the cue ball off rails. They first determine their best angle on the next ball, then pick a target on the rail to send the cue ball toward. This sort of precise pull where they're striking targets on a rail enables them to keep the cue ball in the correct angle, shot after shot. The next principle in play is always study the tangent line of the object ball. This tangent line tells you exactly where the cue ball will go if the cue ball is sliding when it strikes the object ball. So in this situation, the tangent line will send the cue ball to the side rail near the 3rd diamond, which should work for getting the correct angle on the 7 ball. Before shooting the 7 ball, let's examine the 8 and 9 ball. If we pocket the 7 ball and send the cue ball to this half of the table, we're going to end up with a flat angle on the 8 ball. For instance, if we land here, we're going to have to go 2 rails for shape on the 9 ball. We could try to pocket the 7 ball and cross the 8 ball pocket line, but the danger would be in ending up with an awkward angle. As we mentioned earlier, you don't want to trade a good angle for another angle unless you're extremely confident you can land in your position area. In this scenario, a high angle would be preferred anyway since we can pocket the 8 ball and send the cue ball toward the 9 ball. So in this shot, we'll be using a principle of position play that we talked about earlier, where we're going to choose an angle that's going to help move the cue ball toward our position area. Sometimes only a few inches changes a natural angle to an angle that requires a lot more stroke and side spin. For example, landing here on the 8 ball gives us an angle that will help move the cue ball back up table for the 9 ball. If the cue ball is here, now we have an angle that is flatter. At this angle, it's going to require a much firmer stroke to send the cue ball to the side rail. And this leads to another principle of position play. Try to send the cue ball toward the next ball at the correct angle. In this game of 9 ball, we're on the 5 ball. We need to land on this side of the 6 ball pocket line so we can get our position on the 7 ball. So when we shoot the 5 ball, we could go one rail crossing the 6 ball pocket line. But you can see that when we play shape this way, the cue ball isn't traveling toward the 6 ball at the correct angle. So we won't have our position until the very end of the cue ball path. But if we shoot the 5 ball this way, where we're going to stun the cue ball toward the 6 ball, it's going to head toward the 6 ball at the correct angle. So our speed control doesn't have to be exact. We can even underhit the shot and still have our correct angle on the 6 ball. Since the 9 ball is the last ball, if we can go 2 rails toward the 9 ball, being off on our speed should still leave us a very makeable shot. If we go 1 rail and we're off on our speed, this is going to leave us a much tougher shot. If the 9 ball were here, then the 1 rail option would be preferred over the 2 rail option, since the 1 rail option allows us to send the cue ball toward the 9 ball at the correct angle. So now when we shoot the 7 ball, we have a better idea of what angle we need on the 8 ball, which is why it's so important to have a specific target in mind on each shot. Simply shooting the 7 ball without a real position area in mind usually results in angles that aren't helping you move the cue ball to your next ball. Creating angles that help you move the cue ball is what pool players refer to as the cue ball being on a string. It's how the professionals make the game look effortless. Here's the second 9 ball pattern. In this pattern, before we shoot the 1 ball, we need to decide where we need to be for the 3 ball. And this leads to another principle of position play. In the early part of 9 ball or 10 ball games, it's important to think 4 balls ahead due to the extra traffic on the table. It looks like the 3 ball is connected to the 4 ball, meaning if we pocket the 3 ball in the corner pocket, we don't have to do very much with the cue ball to have position on our next ball. So if we can land anywhere near the 3 ball pocket line when shooting the 2 ball, getting position on the 4 ball should be fairly easy. Since we're playing the 3 ball in the corner, we need to create an angle on the 2 ball that will send the cue ball toward the 3 ball. An angle around here should give me a natural angle that I can use to send the cue ball toward the 3 ball. When I shoot the 1 ball, I'm going to pocket it in the side pocket and send the cue ball toward the target on the side rail. In an earlier video, we talked about driving the cue ball toward targets on rails using high action. This is a skill that every player needs to have in their arsenal. And in my next video, I'm going to go through drills that will help you develop this skill. These drills will show you how to hit targets when shooting in corner pockets and when shooting in side pockets. Let's examine this layout, which recently took place between 2 of the top players in the world. Here's the situation. The player at the table has ball in hand on the 1 ball. The problem is that the 3 ball is frozen on the cushion right next to the side pocket. The player can make the 1 and 2 ball, but he won't have a shot on the 3 ball unless he can break it out when he plays the 1 ball. Now many players, including several professionals, would place a cue ball here and go 1 or 2 rails toward the 3 ball. The downside of this shot is that it's a blind shot. A slightly better option is to place a cue ball on the other side of the 1 ball and use maximum high to send the cue ball toward the 3 ball. The benefit of this shot is that you can see the target in your line of sight when you're down on the table. And if you notice, Jason Shaw is able to really fine-tune his angle before he pulls the trigger. This shot is powerful once you have it down, and it can help you win many games. And this is the type of shot we're going to be doing on the 1 ball. I'll first find my position area for the 2 ball, then determine what number on the side rail I need to send the cue ball toward. If I can send the cue ball toward 20, that should work for giving me the proper angle on the 2 ball. Playing shape for the 3 ball in the corner pocket employs another principle of position play. If a ball is near the side pocket as the 3 ball is, first determine if playing it in the corner pocket will give you position on your next ball. And in this case, if we pocket the 3 ball in the corner pocket, we're going to have automatic shape on the 4 ball. If we decide to play for the side pocket, the entire cue ball path is in the danger area. Ending up short or going a bit too far means we'll have a lot more work to do to create an angle in the 4 ball to get on the 5 ball. If we play with the 3 ball in the corner pocket, when we pocket the 2 ball, the cue ball is going to be heading toward the 3 ball at the correct angle, so our speed control doesn't have to be exact. Before shooting the 3 ball, it's important to recognize which side of the 4 ball pocket line is the danger area. If we can end up on the left side of the 4 ball pocket line, we'll have an angle that we can use to get on the 5 ball. If we end up on the other side of the 4 ball pocket line, now we'll have a lot more work to do to get our shape for the 5 ball. So when I shoot the 3 ball, I either want to stop the cue ball or draw back an inch or two. Before we shoot the 4 ball, let's examine the 5 and 6 ball. We can see that the 7 ball is in a tough position area. It looks like we'll have to pocket it in this corner pocket. Now we need to figure out how we're going to pocket the 6 ball and get on the 7 ball. When working with students, a few of them will usually select the closest pocket for their object ball. So in this situation, they may choose to pocket the 6 ball in this side pocket and roll forward for their shape on the 7 ball. But if we put this shot under the microscope, we can see that this position window is very small if we were to play the 6 ball in this side pocket. Ending up just outside this position window means we can no longer roll forward to get our shape on the 7 ball. And this is why it's always important to examine position windows. If we were to pocket the 6 ball in the other side pocket, now our position window opens up. Ending up anywhere in this position window will allow us to get position on the 7 ball. Since we now know we need to end up on the right side of the 6 ball pocket line, we don't want too much angle in the 5 ball when we play the 4 ball. At this angle, it may be hard to hold the cue ball on the right side of the pocket line. If we can get to this angle, now it won't take much effort to pocket the 5 ball and stay on the correct side of the 6 ball pocket line. When we shot the 1 ball, we talked about using high action to send the cue ball toward a target on the side rail. Another benefit of developing this skill of hitting targets on rails is that you're going to develop the ability to gauge exactly where the cue ball will go when using high action. For instance, on this shot, if I pocket the 4 ball with high action, I know that my cue ball will be sent toward 27 on the side rail. And since I know where the cue ball will strike the side rail, and I know where my position area is, I can now figure out how much right spin I'm going to need to land in this area. Without this ability to know exactly where the cue ball is going to strike the rail using high action, I may incorrectly assume it's going to strike further down or higher up on the rail, which will throw off my position for the next ball. As we mentioned earlier, when we shoot the 5 ball, we need to land on the right side of the 6 ball pocket line. It's always a good idea to visualize the pocket line in situations like this so you can see what number on the side rail the line heads toward. If we examine the 6 ball pocket line, we can see that it heads toward 18 on the side rail. So if we send the cue ball toward the first diamond or 10 on the side rail, this will ensure that we end up with a proper angle on the 6 ball. At this angle in the 6 ball, I have 2 choices. I can stun the cue ball over to the side rail for shaping the 7 ball, or I can softly roll in the 6 ball. And this leads to another principle of position play. When given the opportunity, as a general rule, you want to roll the ball as opposed to stun the ball. For instance, in this 8 ball game, we're on the 6 ball, we need to get shape in the 7 ball so we can get on the 8 ball. And it looks like we'll be playing the 8 ball in this corner pocket. So a lot of players would pocket the 6 ball and end up with this angle on the 7 ball. Now they're going to have to stun the ball toward their position area. As we mentioned earlier, stun shots are speed sensitive, and the more distance between the cue ball and object ball when performing a stun shot, the harder it is to control the exact path and speed of the cue ball. Now watch what happens when I pocket the 6 ball and I send the cue ball over to the side rail near the 7 ball. At this angle, I can softly roll in the ball, which means I'm going to have tight control over my cue ball path and speed. Next time you're on the pool table, go ahead and set this shot up. The goal is to pocket the ball and send the cue ball toward the second diamond on the side rail. At this cue ball location, we can softly roll in the object ball and send the cue ball to the target area on the side rail. Even if we change our speed, the cue ball still stays on the same path. Now we'll place the cue ball closer to the object ball's pocket line. At this angle, we'll be striking more of the object ball, which means we'll need more power than the previous shot. Since this is a stunt shot, where you're striking on the cue ball has to be in sync with your speed. If your speed changes, then you have to adjust where you are striking the cue ball if you want to send the cue ball on the correct path. We can see that changing our speed even a little bit without adjusting where we are striking the cue ball sends the cue ball on a much different path. So back to the 6-ball shot. If the option is available for me to softly roll in the 6-ball and get my position on the 7-ball, I may choose that over the stun shot, especially since I'm going to have really good control over the speed of the cue ball. Before shooting the 7-ball, it's important that I'm very specific about where I need to end up for the 8-ball. Shooting too quickly without creating a game plan may leave me with an awkward angle on the 8-ball, or it may leave me a stretch shot. And this leads to another principle of position play. Make sure you play a shot that's easy to reach, and this is especially true on 9-foot tables. It's very easy on a shot like this to shoot too quickly and end up here on the 8-ball. Now you're going to have to stretch or use a mechanical bridge to pocket the 8-ball and get on the 9-ball. But if you're right-handed, you can simply use low left to keep the cue ball close to the side rail. And now it's just a matter of leaning over and pocketing the ball. If you're left-handed, then you can send the cue ball higher up on the side rail, which is easy to reach. When shooting shots like this 8-ball, always try to visualize a path that leads to the corner pocket. For instance, on this shot, sending the cue ball toward the 3rd diamond on the side rail will send the cue ball toward the corner pocket. Now that I can visualize this path, I can now pick a spot on the side rail to send the cue ball toward. If I can send the cue ball toward 20 or 25, that's going to ensure that I will take the scratch out of play. So in shots like this 8-ball, don't just blindly send the cue ball 3 rails. The position area on the 9-ball is huge, so your first priority is to make sure you avoid the corner pocket.